Okay, it's not quite bedtime. I was like, I'm gonna go ahead and record tomorrow, the video for tomorrow now because um tomorrow I'm supposed to get the mammogram. And every time I have to go to town, I swear it just sucks up the whole day. And I just didn't want to be like, because I don't know. It just seems like it's too rushed. Like when I'm trying to rush and I don't know. So anyways, I thought I'm just going to do it now because it seems like there's a lot going on. And this morning I had forgotten to say something because I thought this was so trippy. And I did a TikTok right after it happened, but this was just really trippy. So, I had said I wanted to try and do more alkaline foods. Now I'm seeing what some of the alkaline foods are, and I'm like, man, I don't do good with alkaline foods. So I don't know. I keep seeing these kids that are like, I fast for 30 days on water. I'm like, dude, that is what I'm goal is to do. I don't know what the hell. I have not had this many problems in so long. I do not understand at all what the hell is going on. And I was so uncomfortable too. And so anyways, I know I'm seeing the worms all outside in the water because when I was walking Stella, there's pools of water everywhere and there was all these worms. I was like, fuck, these things are like being dropped down into and then maybe they're going, maybe they've got some extra powerful soldier worms, parasites to get into the other things, maybe make animals go more crazy. Like, I don't know. This place is so wacky. There's men walking down the street in New York just punching women in the face if they're in their way or whatever. So, I mean, it's going to get more and more dangerous. Pretty soon it won't be punching. It'll be stabbing, and it's going to get worse and more vicious and more vicious. And it's so weird is how that when this stuff happens, the people seem shocked. I mean, the one girl who got punched and she had a big giant knot and she was so distraught. And of course, she went straight to the phone to talk about it. And but she was looking down on her phone while she was walking. And the guy was walking her dog, and then he punched her in the head because she wasn't paying attention. Like, you have the right to touch anybody. At least now she's put in a police report. And another lady it happened to. So I don't know. But that shit is just going to keep happening. Like, the stuff just keeps getting crazier and crazier. I don't know if you watched the miracle video that I shared. I put it in the comments of the video I did this morning because it's wild. And let me think because I'm already skipping around. Because, oh yeah, because of the thing that happened yesterday, because I thought this was so trippy, is so I had, it's something about beets. I was on a thing about beets, and I was like, oh, I have a jar of beets in my, I have a few different, like fermented kind of food things in my, these jars of it, this stuff in my cabinet. I was like, I should start eating that. I could eat that and a potato and see how my stomach does. And so anyways, I got the beets out, which beets go really good with cottage cheese. And that's high protein. Like, that's something that's good for you. And pickled beets. And so anyways, I had this big jar of them. And I couldn't get it open. I couldn't get it open. I was tapping on it, and I had taken, I have one of those paint can ones, the can opener thing that's like turned the other way so it like lifts the lip out. And, but I had taken it outside because I had to open a can of paint because the water thing all of a sudden fell through and I had to fix that. So, I'm having weird shit. And so then I had to go out there. I had to paint this little thing. And so I had taken the thing out there and I'd forgot to bring it in. And so when I couldn't get it open and I looked and I was like, damn it, I left that outside. And I was having this like little battle inside my mind. I was like, okay, well, if I can't get it open, it's just not meant to be. And but I felt like it was like, go get the can opener. And so I was like, oh God, okay, I'm gonna go get the can opener. And so I walked out there to get the can opener, which is just across the patio. It was just like not far. It was only a few steps. And then I came back in and the lid was off the fucking beets sitting on top of it. I was like, what the fuck? Like, I've had some help before, but that was really, really obvious. And I definitely have weird things all the time. But I was like, that is so... and I felt like it was definitely giving me the message of, you eat the beets. So anyways, I ate some of the beets with cottage cheese, and it was good. But I had forgot to say that one. And so I was like, oh, I got to record about that. And then this whole thing with P. Diddy, that whole thing had just blown up even more. And the person who I was talking about, like, I said that everybody keeps talking about Mary-Kate and Ashley. Like, everybody's all over Mary-Kate and Ashley. There's a whole bunch of child stars that they're all up on. But Mary-Kate and Ashley, which leads to Bob Saget and his roast and how pervy it was. And, you know, I don't know. I mean, there's some things I just don't think are funny. But, you know, I mean, it's hard to say if some people think they're funny or if some people are really pervy. But now people are like, they're just on the edge of their seats waiting for Mary-Kate and Ashley to speak out. And all these different, oh my gosh, so many people now. It's just like open the floodgates like the Me Too movement did. Now you got people, all sorts of kids on different shows speaking. Like, there's so many people speaking out. But the one I was gonna say a second ago was what was it? P. Diddy. Now he's got all that. Oh, the J-Lo and the Ben Affleck. Oh my gosh, so much. People just jump on to some of this stuff. This stuff is going to be so people can see themselves. They haven't. I mean, this is just like building the drama to the next scene. So, you know, because they're going to end up feeling like, oh my God, I'm so judgmental. And why is it, you know, why am I interjecting myself into these other people's business? What does it have to do with me? Because there is so many people, like, there's so much stuff with J-Lo and Ben. Like, I mean, you got opinions on both sides. But the facts are that, you know, in these toxic, weird relationships, both people are broken. Nobody's the victim. I mean, I've been in plenty of toxic relationships. It's equal. That's the only way that it could keep the toxicity is it's an equal partnership. So, yeah, but that is when you're in a certain vibration. That's why if you heal and you get out of that vibration, you don't deal with those kind of relationships. You have to move yourself out of that by healing the stuff that brings you into those kinds of relationships because they are so toxic. And I keep almost thinking of that. There's something that I feel like I interrupted myself and didn't finish saying or something a few minutes ago. I have a bunch of stuff going in my head too. Like my dresses are on my mind, my surgery. Like I'm on in the obstacle course that they set up of the hoops and stuff I got to jump through in order to get the surgery. Now it's like, okay, so tomorrow I get the mammogram. That's down one. And then the next week when I make that payment, I don't think it's the next week. Or no, maybe it is the next week. I don't know. It's on my next check. So when I get my next check, which is only like a week and a half away or something, it might be 2 weeks away. Yeah, maybe it's 2 weeks from today. And but then once I make that payment, I only have one thing left to do. Just that last payment, except for, you know, your pre-op appointment and all that crap. And then I still have to get to the surgery. But I figure I'll just get a room, stay down there. And I should be first. He said it's like, I don't know, it's like a 10-minute surgery or something. It's like, it's literally a foreign object removal. That's all I'm getting. And so anyways, it's expensive foreign object removal, but I'll be so glad to get the foreign object out. And And then plus I have this whole thing of like, oh my God, then I'm going to try on all my dresses again. All my clothes are going to fit so different. Because, like, it's like I need 2 different sizes of clothes for myself. You know, I got to choose. I don't know. It's annoying. I can't wait until it's over. Um, but let me think, because it was funny after I had said that about the tall thing, and I saw a girl today, and she was talking about the stuff because she's still young, and she was talking about like all the annoying things and the stuff that people say and stuff, and it was so true. I didn't even remember all that stuff. Yeah, I swear to God, daily you'll have somebody like, oh my God, you're so tall. Why are you so tall? And girls do try and act like, oh, they're so little and dainty when they're around you, when they're around other guys. Like you're the big oof, like you're a gargoyle or something. And so, anyways, there was a lot of stuff like, oh my gosh, yeah, I forgot about that. And yeah, there's a lot of stuff. But we all have different things, you know. It's just, I thought that was weird. But that is always happens. Like there's stuff that I'll be thinking about or going over or whatever. And then something about it will come up. There'll be some kind of confirmation or something. And the, so the P. Diddy thing. So, but there's going to be so many of these people are going to be arrested. Now they're saying he's involved in like a traffic situation with a bunch of young boys and stuff. Like I mean, he's got a lot of bad stuff. I am sure he's probably not even, he's probably already arrested. Like, this is probably all just a big show. He was probably, you know, kind of like a Hollywood pimp or something. There were so many of these people that had certain positions, but in their position, it was kind of like a doorway. It was kind of like a vacuum doorway to suck people in. And they were kind of like a handler. And I think they're all over the place. And you think about the micro macro of how your body works, and how I've said there's filtering systems. Everything is built on these filtering systems. And so, anyways, I think he was a part of some type of filtering system, getting young bucks in there who want to make it big as rappers or something. And so then, you know, he gets some bent over, and I don't know. Sounds pretty. And another weird thing too is, and this is they're pushing the agenda. You know, is that the Oscars apparently the movie that won, it was somebody was talking about that their mom had seen it or something, and they said it was the weirdest movie. For one thing, it's something about taking a baby's brain and putting it in an adult person in some kind of surgery. So they're already doing that kind of stuff, moving consciousness around from in people like that. I'm telling you. And so then they said the whole movie is just hardcore sex, just for no reason, just hardcore sex. And then, you know, the premise is even they're having sex with this baby through the whole thing. It just is like their weird, sick sex, weirdo shit. And then it wins because they're in charge of this shit. And then they try and make like, oh, see, everybody loves it. So then people start feeling like, well, maybe it's just me. And that's how they push on all their programming and stuff. But no, it's them loving themselves. It's like J-Lo, like her and her weird documentary. God, the more stuff I see with that, God, I don't know. It's just kind of embarrassing, I think, like some of the stuff. But, you know, this is what all these souls are here to play out. And some of it's just so public where it's like, I don't know. Why would you do that? But I don't know, because I mean, she was doing stuff on the documentary, like private stuff that, and she's putting it out in public. She's just so like borderline or histrionic or some. She's got a personality disorder. But I think a lot of these women. I think some ones that have reached that kind of fame like that have got just major personality disorders, and they don't deal with their shit. They're just told certain things, and then some of them are kept quiet, and then they're used. And she's so used, and she doesn't care. I mean, some of these people, they're just used as distractions, and uh, I don't know. But they all have their own shit to face, and it's just like, to me, you just got to be aware of how this place works and who they promote, and and then how they use the people that they promote, and it's just the whole thing. And tons of people just keep talking about the eclipse. Yeah, and you have all these spiritual people, astrology people saying it's already started because of the lunar thing, which was maybe why I couldn't sleep last night, was the energy. We've got some big solar flares and all sorts of shit going on. Because I could not sleep at all. Everything was hurting. And there is more people who are seeing that big fucking head up in the sky. So you can go out by the moon. I guess it's best when the moon's full that you can see it. And but you got to zoom in, and then it's over next to the moon. But people are seeing it in other places. And, I would think it's got to be a hologram or something. But it's just so freaky. And it's also weird how much it looks like on these binaural beats, like I said, on YouTube. On 432, healing one, what I put on a lot for Stella. Oh, which we got the red light. I did it on her today. I hung it above her, and she slept for a long time with that above her. She's out there whining right now. I should just go let her in. It's only 60 minutes. Hold on. Do you want to come in? Hurry up. Come on. If you want to come in, hurry up. No. She doesn't want to come in. She just wants to lay there and whine. So, anyways, okay. Now, let me think of all of this. There was a bunch of stuff I wanted to say. Okay, so the eclipse thing. And so you have, I don't know, like, a lot of people are saying, like, I don't know, the way the planets line up or something, that this is going to be the flipping, the energy flipping around. And so I just know we're close. I don't know what it has to do with, I don't know what the thing is. I just know it's close and that it's going to happen. And once it does, that things are going to get better. But it's going to get worse for some people for a while. But it's just because that they have, it's a part of them that has to wake up. It's a part of them that has to heal. If it is, they were distracted or misled, or it's just so many things. There's so many different things that different people are working through, and different souls and stuff. So it's not like you can, it's not like one set thing where you can be like, oh, this is the one thing. No, it was just like a shit ton of different things. And so anyways, but if they're going to do the stuff going down, and that's the other pressure too, like to get to the surgery before the money crashes, before everything crashes. And it just seems so close. I swear to God, there's some of these, I don't know even what to call them, patriot stations maybe. They seem like they're the anti-government, like, I don't know, I guess patriot stations. And that they are, watch everything that is going on with, like the war and stuff, like, and there's fighting and stuff going on. Like what just happened in Russia. Like, I don't even know if that, like, you would think that must not have been real, but maybe it's all like a big show or something, but I don't know. Oh my God. See the drama. Please. So much drama all the time. God. It's not, lately I've just seen her kind of like, God, you're a crybaby. But, you know, I did teach her that if she cries, I'll jump up. Like, what's wrong? So it's kind of my fault. But anyways, she is dramatic and whines a lot. And I'm trying to not be triggered by it. So anyways, I'm trying to rethink it. So, okay. So we have all of these people who are saying that all of this stuff is going to go down, like the power is going to go down, that is what they're kind of like these solar flares are coming in, and so they know that something's about to go on, like with Nibiru or whatever, because the sun and moon aren't going to be next to each other, so that there's something else. Like if they know something else is going to go on, and maybe they're going to turn the lights off, you know, like on the Truman Show or something, you know, like how they could turn the lights on when they couldn't find him. And so maybe they're just going, because it definitely has seemed like that sometimes, where they just turn the lights off and then all of a sudden the lights are on. Like there's a lot of weird stuff with our skies. And I for sure, like it definitely is like some kind of hologram sky. And there's people who are getting pictures and stuff like with telescopes and stuff now, and they can see the patterns. It is like some kind of a um it's like geometric patterning that makes that uh it's like it's easier to see than it is to say it. It is like everything is like a pattern of like energy or something. I don't know how to explain it, but there's a pattern. You can see a pattern. And then there's like portals, and portals are like to me like wormhole, like a space in the vibration. So the vibration is like there's spaces in between, and then also, you know, we are in different realities in different realms. They are trying to make us all be in the same kind of one or something. But and I think that there's a lot of lies. I think that there's going to be more stuff coming out about the maps. Like I think that that is weird, how those guys were walking, and those people who stopped them. I think I talked about it on here. Whoever these people were had stopped them. They were at the border, and there was these guys, and they didn't look like they had been out, you know, for very long. Like it didn't look like they had been out walking for a month or something. And so they said, "Where are you from?" And the guy said, "India." And they said, "India?" He goes, "So what did you do? Did you fly into Mexico?" And the guys were like, "Fly? What do you mean?" And he goes, "Well, how'd you get here?" He goes, "Walked." And he goes, "Well, but how'd you get here? Like, did you fly into Mexico and then walk?" And he goes, "No, we walked." And he's like, "Well, what do you mean walked? You had to go to the airport." And he's like, and so then some other guy walks up and goes, "Where are you from?" He's like, "Pakistan." And he goes, "Well, how'd you get here?" And he's like, "Walked." And then another guy walks up and he's like, "Where'd you get from?" And he's like, "Bangladesh." And so they're all like, and they're all looking really confused. Like, what are you talking about? Fly. And then some people say, "Oh, well, that's a setup because they just really flew in, but it's all cover up." But I don't know. These guys, like, they would all have to be some pretty good actors because they really seem genuinely confused as to what you're talking about. And I think our maps are a lie. And I think that there's probably like mountain ranges, and there probably is portal systems. Like you walk through a mountain range. Like I was thinking, even like walking through forests and shit, you're walking through portals and stuff. You're going through different spaces in time. Even if you end up in your same area, there's still there's different possibilities of travel. Like there's places where these animals or beings or whatever, that they can come in and out of these areas. And so the portals, was I going to say? The portals? Because it's like, uh, okay, so if they took off walking from India and then started walking through some kind of mountain ranges, because I mean, that's how people used to get around before, was they walked. And it would, different land masses would be touching and then not touching. And then they'd have some boats, but like it took well, who knows, throughout the different periods of time. But I think even back from the times of Egypt, I mean, they could have taken some on some, they could have taken some tribes and taken them on ships and dropped them off in places, but they could have also met and encountered with tribes that were already there, and then went down and taught them the same teachings as to why, you know, there was like the same kind of buildings and stuff. I don't know. We weren't there, so it's all conjecture, really. But I know that there used to be a lot of walking around, and then the ships and stuff. Like, there's been different times, but you know, the traveling by the ocean could be rough, and so, but walking, and so, anyways, I was like, so if those guys took off from India, start walking through some kind of mountains, and then there's different kind of like wormholes, like places that are like jump spots, like where you, I don't know. I don't know. I don't even know where the fuck India is in comparison. Like, is it touching somewhere like where Russia and Alaska's almost touching? There's other things, you know, they lie about all this shit. Like, Africa's 5 times the size that it shows. It's like, I think United States is way smaller than it is what it shows. Like, they built up certain places and made other places smaller as all of the part of the manipulation. That's all in like the history, truth telling stuff on whistleblowing map stuff. There's so much stuff with the lies, but if they can walk from India, and I'm telling you, these guys did not look like they had been walking for a month or something. And but if you can walk and go through some kind of like areas that I don't know. I just don't even know. They definitely did not seem like that they were some kind of intelligence plants or something to come in and trick us, to tell us they weren't flying in. Well, why would, I mean, if they're coming from India, why wouldn't we just expect, like, you'd think the cover story would be like, hell yeah, we flew in and then we walked from Mexico across the border because that's where you can come in, you know? So, I mean, that's what all these different people are doing supposedly, but like, I was shocked when they started telling us people were fucking walking from Venezuela and all these places. I just start getting out maps and go like, how are they getting there? Like, is there all land this whole way? Like, how are they walking from like South America, Central America, and then they're getting over here and coming in on our border? Like, what? Like, it makes sense when they're talking about they're coming in on boats over by like Miami or something, but like, walk all the fuck, what? So then when that guy's like, you know, yeah, we walked from India, I'm like, okay, this is some bullshit. Like, if we could just walk around and get around, like, what in the hell? Like, everything is so much manipulation, but I know that everything is like, is realms and realities and stuff. And I don't know, it's like we're all in some kind of agreement to be in this same one, even though we're all having different experiences in it. That's like the agreement to come into the game or something. Like, you know, this other shit's going on in the game that has nothing to do with you. And you can distract yourself by paying attention to what's going on with everybody else, or you can focus on your game. And then you got to figure out, what are you doing in your game? Are you trying to master the game? Are you trying to learn about yourself? Are you trying to get revenge? Are you trying to screw people over? There's people who literally just, you know, live for revenge. Like, they feel that they got to get even. It's like, no, you don't want to be going and trying to get even with people. That's the stuff you leave to the universe. The universe has a natural order. And it's not for you to decide. When you are thinking that you can decide stuff like that, that is when you put stuff out of order. You put stuff out of balance. It's best just to sit back and let things take a natural cause and effect, because everything has a cause and effect. If something goes up, it has to come down. It has a natural order. And that is why I say, like, that is where your karmic balance comes in. It's whatever you put out of order, you have to put back in order. And it's not like some pressure, like where you're imprisoned. I mean, you're surrounded by your ancestors who are trying to put stuff in order that they've messed up throughout time, or that they didn't like, or whatever the case may be. They felt like, they could have done better, or they wish they would have done better, or they should have done it this way. And then, that's the way to put stuff back into order. Because there's people, throughout our lineage and stuff that had huge impacts, that did some shitty things, and it had a huge impact on the trajectory of the family lineage and stuff. So there's reasons why. It's not like, grandpa yelled at you once and now he's in a panic that you're not going to forgive him or something. It's like a lot of stuff bigger than that. Although your grandparents and stuff are around you all the time, but a lot of them is around you as protection, is to be there. That's like why when, if somebody has an accident and they come out of their body, then, you have your grandparents and, your family's there, because you have them all around you, because we're just all that connected. There has been so many weird things, though. There's definitely weird stuff. Like, things feel really weird. Things feel like, ugh. Like, I feel really like what's going to happen any second. Any second, something's going to happen. And hopefully it's a good thing. But I don't know. I mean, there's going to be a lot of bad stuff. I mean, there already is so much bad stuff going. Like, fuck, man. There's so many sad things. And all these kids missing. I mean, you got women that just, like, are deciding to just... A woman left her 11-day-old baby to go on vacation. She left the baby in a box and just left. 11-day-old baby. And I guess they could tell that the baby had been eating its own feces, and but of course it died. And another one, a woman, she went on vacation and left her 2 kids. I think they were like 5 and 6 years old or something. And she's just off on vacation. And there's a text message from one of her kids. It's like, hey, Mom, what are we going to have for dinner? And she says, well, you can have candy, I guess. Or you just have some candy. Sorry. It's like, oh my God. You see what I'm saying? How, like, there's some serious, like, there's soul groups that came in to go through this. Like, there's some bullshit going on. Like, God damn. That's where I'm saying, like, there is some serious soul shit going on. Like, some of this stuff is so outrageous. It's so insane. And we don't know what there's different things are. Like, you can't go and figure out, and it's not our place to judge. I swear to God, that is a part of what, on a bigger scale. Like, it's not just judgment of each other. It's like getting involved in these judgments, just like getting all involved in, like, Team J-Lo and Team Ben. Which one is more abusive? And who's getting the worst end of the deal? It's like they're both putting each other through it. They're doing it together. But all the soul groups, even though it always seems like there's victims, it's, a lot of it is putting things back in balance. And so it can seem like super outrageous to us, like, oh my God, what a horrible, horrible monster. But, it could be that this is putting things back into order. We're out of order because of what this other person did. You just don't know. That's what the thing is. It's like, it's kind of like we're all peeping in everybody else's business. We're all looking into, just so that we can have something to talk about so we can judge and say what we think about it. But really, if a soul comes here to play out their pattern, that's the universe is the universe is the playground for one thing, but that is who is your overseer. The balance has as its natural order. It's like not our place. I think, a part of our storyline of what we're ending and what we're coming out of, and it's probably been a part of the storyline that we've adapted from, but, of noticing and being all up in, trying to, like, I don't know, create a whole entire structured society and put us all under one umbrella or something, and not letting people be into their own cultures, into their own groups, like letting tribes be tribes, letting people, do what they do. And that's what we're going to go back towards. But it's not going to be just like going back to, tribes and stuff, because all the different tribes and stuff are all born in different bodies. So not everybody, if you could have been a tribe, like, in Cherokee hundreds of years ago, and then now you're all born, but you're all in different kinds of bodies. You're not all in indigenous bodies. A lot of people have come in to go in to play roles and get into other things and to see things from other perspectives, and so there's a lot of stuff going on. But so, like, the ancestry of the tribe can be all around them, but it can be in every bit of diversity that is around them. And that is a part of, our evolution of acceptance, of being able to come together and not dividing. So it's meant to be that way. But there is the other part of where we will go into an alignment, but it will be more of a vibrational. So we will get more into, and that is kind of like a tribal kind of philosophy, because it is like, what they turned it into with religion is like a lead, a way to harness a group of people. But there is a natural order to, like, the way that tribes develop when you put a group of people together, and they go into a natural order of a tribal community kind of thing. And so that is something that just kind of happens naturally. But then through our history, we had to learn so much about division, and there's a lot of stuff, like, with the stuff about race. Look at how many people get caught up in not being able to see the soul, because all they can see is a skin color, or all they can see is a size of person, or all they can see is the age of a person, or all they can see is the way a person looks. And it can go either way, because if somebody thinks somebody's real attractive, they overlook everything. They don't want to see anything. And if somebody thinks that somebody's not attractive, then they don't even put enough into getting to know the person on a deeper level. Because when you know a person on the deeper level, it makes their whole entire look, like their whole presentation, is more appealing to you when you have that connection. And so, but so many people, like, and that's what I've said too about, like, same-sex things. Those are things like, are you gonna let this get in the way of your love? Can you overcome these things? And these are things like from different lives and stuff. And then you come in so you can try it, like, well, I'm gonna overcome, and everything is breaking down obstacles to reach love. And you can see how so many people, they're blocked by so many different things. They can't see the person. They can't see the soul. They can't see past, their skin color or whatever. All those kind of artificial things. And so those are the challenges, but that is a part of the evolution of what is going on with the people so that they can break through those biases, break down those barriers, and get into being able to recognize people in their soul. And then, but that is when the people go into alignments in their soul and people begin to formulate on an understanding, like a vibration, like on the same wavelength. And then that's when communities and stuff will develop around kind of a wavelength, kind of like a vibe. And the people will all be kind of like on the same wavelength. It won't be exactly like everybody's going to be like robots, because you're going to have families and stuff. You'll have all different kind of people, but there'll be like a certain vibe. There will be a kind of how things run, it's real laid back or whatever. It's going to be what is comfortable for the bigger part of the group, like the tribe. And that is where there will be more of, there's going to be more where people will be able to figure out how to get along a lot easier and better, because they'll kind of be around people who like, they vibe, like they get it. Like going through all this work is going to help people, because then it's going to get them into a place where they can deal with all the different things. But being able to deal with all the things brings in the best things for you, because then you are raising your vibration, because you're not letting biases and anger and what color shirt somebody's wearing or whatever, what color hair they dye their hair or whatever. Each group has specific things that trigger the other people, that they, think like, oh, this person's got that wrong or whatever. As I saw this girl who was complaining, and she said that she's got blue hair and that she's constantly being said, snotty stuff like, blue-haired liberal or something like that. Like she gets blamed for stuff, and she said that she's a conservative and she's an artist, and that she should be able to express herself however she wants to, and that people are so biased and judgmental. But that's what I'm saying is, like, I've been saying it for a long time. I could see how judgmental and biased people were too. Like anything that you have that is different, then you can see, like, darker skinned people, they could see, lots of people had biases, lots of people had judgment and all of that stuff. They could see it. And when you have, like when you have a bunch of tattoos, then you start seeing like, oh, that's all that people can see. They look at you and all they can see is tattoos. Sometimes they'll just sit there and scan, like they just can't even believe it. And so you start really seeing how biased people are, like how people, they're stuck. They can't go past seeing the tattoos, and how much that will associate immediately how they look at it is in regards to whatever. It could be something from their history, it could be something from seeing in a movie, it could be something from their programming, because they program how to look at certain people in the movies and stuff. That's what I talked about before, when they do these kind of really typical kind of people. It's like they want us to be like down on certain groups. And you know what's weird too is like in our newer movies, if you pay attention, they're always making fun of Republicans. Republicans are the worst. Republicans are the worst. And, that's embarrassing. Oh, what's the worst? If you're going out with a guy and you find out he's Republican, like all that kind of stuff is all the time in the movies. And so I was watching this older movie. Oh, it had William Shatner in it. So funny when you see him like before. Like he was just a regular old actor. And then he became, what's his name, from the Star Trek. But he is a dad in this movie. And what was I about to say? Because he was, let's see, he was looking for his daughter. There was something. God, that drives me crazy. Let me think what it was. So I was watching the movie. It had William Shatner, and it was about something with kids. His daughter. Oh, no, that was she was in a gang. She was in like a suburban gang or something. I don't even know. Oh yeah, okay, because it was what they were pushing in the school. Oh yeah, okay, because it was in a conversation in the kitchen with his kid, and then they were making fun of him for not being a Democrat. So it was like it had switched. So it was like not making, however they had done it. It was like they were. It was like they were pushing one way, and then 20 years later, they're pushing it a different way. It's like they just switch back and forth. And so in the movie, they'll be making fun of like one group. So they're making fun of, like I said, like Republicans now in the movies, like that they're the worst. But in this one, it was like Democrats. You know, like the Republicans were the ones that were the sane ones. These Democrats, they're just all wacky. And so it was making fun of them that way. I was like, oh my gosh. And I remember, because I was thinking, because I was a Democrat from way back then, and I was thinking about like how it was like we were pushed. I don't know. I chose it because I'd asked my mom what my grandpas were, because I wanted to be for the working people, and they were farmers. And she said my grandpa Hart was a Democrat. And so I was like, okay, well, I'm going to be a Democrat. And so I decided to be a Democrat because my grandpa was a Democrat. My mom was a Republican. And so I always saw that as being more of conservative, more religious people who wanted a lot of rules. Like they wanted a lot of rules. They wanted a lot of stuff based on the church. And it seemed like there was more rules with them. It seemed like the Democrats were a lot more lenient, a lot more like, everybody lived their own lives. And to me, the Republicans seemed like so controlling, like everything had to be their way. So I don't know. Just however it was in that movie, I was like, man, they're saying it one way, and then 20 years later, they're saying it a completely different way. It's like, and I think, and I noticed so much too, is how much they create manipulation between the generations. They create this division. Is what was this? Because I was watching something, and seemed like it was some kids dancing or something, and but it had something with the parents, and whatever it was in the thing, it just really stood out to me, is that they're constantly creating, like, kids are too weird for the parents. The parents don't like the kids. They don't like their music. They don't like how they dress. They don't like their morals. It's like they make these shifts to create that. And they keep doing it and doing it and doing it. And then they say that it's a natural thing, but it's like they're setting it up. They're doing it on purpose. They don't want people to get along. They don't want people to get along with their parents. And they're like, there's a reason why there's this whole movement of, stop talking to your parents. Your parents are toxic. And, because especially like on a spiritual understanding, how all the souls work together. Like everybody works together. And all our lessons are much bigger than just our own. Everything is micro, macro. Yeah, we have our own lessons, but we're also a part of the universe and the universal lessons and the universal expansion. It's like, we are, like, if you think of us as being the sparks inside your mind that create thought, it's like we're constantly sparking, we're constantly creating and making, like lives and experiences, so that there's constantly this expansion in the universe of growth, of it's just a expansion. I don't know what else to call it, because it is like a movement that it grows, and it is all due to all of our lives and our experiences and how we handle ourselves and how we handle things and what we go through. And that's why, even though there's so many atrocious stories going on, horrible storylines that are, traumatic, is but the universe has an appreciation for them all. Like, there's nothing that where the universe is like, oh no, that's crossed the line, nope, you've crossed the line. No, that's not how the universe thinks. If you cross a line, if you put things out of order, you have to put it back in order. But, a lot of stuff you put out of order, you're just learning as you go. So that's where a lot of this karmic balance trap or something, where people start saying like they get in these karmic traps, is because you don't realize you put stuff out of balance until you put it out of balance. Sometimes you don't realize it until you go to your life review, and then you have to see. To me, the way to kind of combat that in the game is to just be more mindful and understand what the game is. Understand, like, it's about spiritual stuff. Understand about your growing and you're evolving, and and I swear to God, you got to know which energy to tap into. Like, I don't know how so many people are tapped into such dark energy and think that they're going in the right direction. I mean, there's so many people who are so tapped into division. I get that one girl, I hadn't seen her in a while, so I went on to go and look at her thing to see, like, is she still on here? And she's still posting and stuff. And it's and it's like she has like a million likes. And it's like 70,000 people follow her, and just like all her stuff. And she is so constantly, her videos get taken down and stuff like that. That's with videos getting taken down and everything. So you see how it's like a movement. Like, there's a lot of people on that train of division and, anger and, like, there's a lot of that. And and the people who have got that, that are on that train, that are in command of it, that they think that they're doing really good, and there is an aspect of it that is good. That's why there isn't where you can just say something's all good or all bad, because everything has aspects of both. There is good things, because it does wake people up. It does get people energized. It does get people paying attention. And people like her, who are, putting so much information out there, and they do so much research. They're on top of it. They're just hyper focused on it. So they are spreading a lot of information that wakes people up, and it sends out, like, it's like a roar. It's not just like a ripple, because theirs is more of a shouting. So it's not just a gentle ripple that's happening. And it's not like a wave, because it's not something that that just happens, even though it's just happening. But they're standing there jumping up and down. So they're doing, like, the war dance, and they're getting results. So anyways, but that is the kind of stuff where the universe watches. Like, the universe watches, like, how it all plays out, how it all goes together, what it is that we react from, what it is that drives us, what it is that, if we watch it too. It's not just like they watch it. We watch it too. We're also advanced souls. And so, I mean, that's what we're doing here, is watching ourselves. So we are watching ourselves so that we can expand and that we can grow, because always the goals are your expansion of your you think about, like, if your vibration, your frequency, your expansion, it's almost like your light just can go pure, 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 to this most purest, whitest light. Like, you can become so engulfed with love from learning how to be so much about acceptance. The more you can accept more people, I mean, people really got to be honest with themselves through this and really recognize how much that they hold judgment towards people that they don't know. And then they got to ask themselves, like, why? Why do I hold judgment towards this person? I don't even know them. And people can, look very different than how they are on the inside. You can have some people that are beautiful looking on the outside and they're just monsters on the inside. You can have people that are horrible looking on the outside and just the most kindest, gentlest, oh my gosh, something's attacking my throat. Kindest, gentlest person on the inside. It really, that is where, oh my gosh, I'm going to start having a coughing fit. Man, I felt like it feels like something went down my throat, like like a pepper or like off of a seed or something, where it's got like that little film or something, like it's something real light, like it feels like it's scraping on my throat. God, my throat is so sensitive. I don't know. I gotta start picturing it different inside, because I'm always picturing it like raw. It's always like the smallest little thing, like and it sets it off. But anyway, so the vibration, the more pure that you get in your understanding and accepting. So when you can understand everybody, and I think it has to do with like even the most atrocious storylines. It's like, we don't know, like, why are we interjecting ourselves to think that we know anything that's going on? Everything is so much bigger and we have no idea what's going on. So it makes no sense for us to interject ourselves. So the more that we can get into that kind of detaching ourselves from this idea that there's a wrong or right, or somebody's good or somebody's bad, or you need to be on Team Ben or Team J-Lo or whatever, that you have to be able to just allow. It's just like allow the world. Like, we don't have to be like, well, they're good and they're bad and they're wrong and they're right. They need to go to jail and they don't. And then this whole concept that they created about jail and stuff. Like, man, there's a whole scam with commissary. So they just get all that stuff in there to jack those prices up. They make those guys barely work for anything, and then they make them pay for all that stuff. And all the, to even buy any food, which the food they even have in commissary looks like dollar store food. And then it's probably 10 or 20 bucks for every little thing. And they get paid like 65 cents. It's such a fucking scam. And the prison system is it's private slavery. They just, I'm just so glad when this shit just falls apart. I just can't wait for the system to just crash and burn. And it is, like, it's crashing and burning right in front of us. It's falling apart right and left. And there keeps being all sorts of chases. I keep running across them in lives of car chases. Not just the crazy car accident that I sent for the miracle one, is other ones. Like, I saw another one where the car was flipped upside down in the middle of a residential. And so it was somebody out there like doing lives and stuff, watching them. And then the guy flipped the car over into other cars, and so wrecked other cars that weren't even wrecked. But once they got the car flipped over, and it was smashed, so it had landed over on the thing. Then they smashed, then he had to roll it over. So, and I don't know if it had rolled or whatever, but it ended up on the top, flipped over. And then once it gets over, a guy who's over by the cops just comes walking over and then opens up the trunk or the back of the SUV or whatever, and just starts going through it and getting his stuff out. I was like, you would think he would be more hurt, But it's the same thing with that girl and that miracle one. Like that one is wacky looking. I told you, I said there is going to be some wacky wrecks where it is going to be like, no way should that person have made it. And they're going to be just standing there. Same with that girl. Like nothing was wrong with her. You got a couple of scratches or something. I was like, how can that even be? What was that fucking guardrail right through the fucking driver's thing? Like that accident was whacked. And and the dad could recognize, like, that's a fucking miracle. Like, that is a fucking miracle. But anyways, that is what we are here learning about. We're learning how to because it's not our place. None of us have the right. None of us know anything about, like, where they tell us, like, 12 of us can get together and decide, someone's crimes and stuff. Like, I don't know, all of the answers. It seems like to me that, like, an effective thing that they used to do, like, if there was somebody who was bad, like if you were in a tribe and there was somebody who was bad, who had done bad things, they were, like, excommunicated from the tribe. You were just like, you're out. It wasn't like you're imprisoned. Here, we're going to take care of you and feed you, and you're going to go out and, work for us or something. No, it was just like, you're out. Go on your way. You're not a part of our tribe anymore. And, a lot of times that, there was nowhere to go. I think some of those ones, they ended up going into little towns and then got used as trackers and stuff. Excuse me, just a minute. Oh, she probably needs medicine. But we did start the red light thing. And she did have it over her for a long time. So we'll see how that goes. I hope it starts making her sores go away too. And then I'm just going to sit with it. Like, whoever was talking about it, like, mine came with some kind of those glasses. Like you wear in a suntan booth. It's like, I kept my eyes closed, but are we supposed to wear those little glasses too? Can you look at it? It is very bright. And this is like 225. There's some that go up way more, I think. Like, but it does put out heat. Like, if it gets close to you, it does put out heat. So anyways, I'm going to keep doing it and see how it does with healing any of this stuff on my face. And just see how it does on everything. Guys, it's supposed to do things like if your shoulder's hurting, you're supposed to be able to hold it up there, and it makes it stop hurting. I did do that a little while ago, and it did seem like it did, but I don't know. I didn't do it for very long. And then on my instructions, it said to kind of work your way up. And my instructions didn't have much. So anyways, I'm just getting started on that. And let me think. What else I was going to say? Because I swear to God, there's still something from this beginning. What I was going to say, and then I forgot. I'm always leaving, like, these scattered things of, like, starting something, and, oh, I forgot what I was going to say. So the people, but I'm telling you, that is what we're working on. Not being judgmental, not being like anybody has more value than anybody else, or anybody. It's like, none of it is our business. Even if somebody goes and kills somebody right in front of us, it's like all these bad things happening, and so many people jump on to be judgmental, and we all want to be like, well, that person's wrong, but like, if we went into some of their stuff, like their whole past life things, you'd find, like, no, things are not as they seem. So that's why, we got to get out of this illusion that we think we understand when we don't understand shit. Like, people don't understand shit at all. But they want to just be judgmental and hateful. But see, that is, the more that you get out of that judgment and hateful and biases and dividing and all of those concepts, then the more you raise your vibration, the more that You just allow, you allow the universe to be the universe. You just go along playing your part. You're just, but the other way, it seems like, that they're all just questioning, and confused. So, it's not as productive. But also, I mean, we're also in a game. Like, this isn't even real life. So anybody doing anything, it's not even like, nobody's like their real self. Like, everybody's different when they're outside of the game. So, we live different outside of the game. And so, anyways, I don't know. There's no reason for us to be judging each other in the game. Well, you should have came up with a better storyline, better roles, learn your lessons in. But see, it's all universe approved. The universe wants it all. So how is anybody doing anything wrong? Even the most heinous stuff, where we think like it's so horrible. Like this lady leaving a poor baby like that. And I don't know. Things are just way bigger, way more complex than we understand. And it's very much, to me, is like it's a waste of energy. It's a waste of time to put time into focusing on that kind of stuff, and judgment, and being hateful towards somebody, thinking like, she's so bad. I mean, it is, like, there's atrocious shit, that's for sure. And yeah, we want to all be like, yeah, she's a horrible monster. There's a lot of horrible monsters. But there's also with that, we have all this dark energy that's being purged out. Like, there is nobody who is nobody is themselves. That's all I can say. Like, you can't sit here and judge people who aren't even being themselves. You're judging them for being in a game. You're judging them for playing a role in a game. Like, it's absurd. And so the more that we can let go of that stuff, the more that we can allow, the more that we can just, and it's not just like allow a bad stuff. Like, there's standards. Like we are looked at as so low vibration because of how toxic and what is that? Violent. Like, other states of being that are more higher, it isn't. It is. You get into a place of you don't do things to each other. You don't hurt each other. So nobody needs to police each other, because we police ourselves. But that is where we've got to get. The people have to be able to evolve to get to that point, to police themselves, to not need a book, to not need, oh, there's a guy up in the clouds, he's judging me, so and besides, how many people do shitty things and they don't even realize, like, you're being watched all the time. All the motherfucking time. You got the watcher, like, you got your fucking ancestors. They're riding your tail all the time. They're right there with you. So, yeah, when you're doing stuff, they're right there. Like, I don't know. I find that embarrassing. Like, I don't want to go do bad things. I don't want to go do some kind of horrible thing and then think like I got away with it. Like, when they're all sitting there watching me. I don't know. It's always been something to me. It's like, man, if you're not willing to do it in front of your grandparents, you probably just better not even do it. Like, because they're sitting there watching you. It's not like they're judging you. They don't have like outside of here. Judgment isn't the same, because it's not the same vibration. And here you can play out judgment. You can see your judgment. You can see your biases. You can see the wickedness that you carry. But out in the outside of here, yeah, we're different. We're in a different vibration. We're in a different kind of state of being. So we don't, we're not hateful to each other. We don't, but that's the thing that where Earth plane has always been like, I don't know about these humans. They're very violent. They're not safe. They hurt each other. And that's why, like, how in the world can we sit there and be, like, outraged when people are coming in from other beings and other planets and stuff and eating us and taking us and stuff like that? Look how we treat each other. Like, people stampede, stomp over somebody over a fucking TV or a doll, or, like, because those stampedes, those were going back when the Cabbage Patch Babies. They were having huge stampedes and stuff when they would bring out those Cabbage Patch dolls. And isn't that weird? Isn't that creepy too? Like, when you think about, like, them playing games, like how they do that shit, it's like a smack in the face to us, you know? How many of us that were sitting here buying these Cabbage Patch Babies, and how much of us are fucking DNA fucking spliced from the Cabbage Patch Babies? It's like, God, this place. And that is why it's going to be so hard for these people who are just going to be waking up. Like, there's all different aspects. Because there's some people who, you know, there will be some things that will be easier. The hardest things are going to be people having to see themselves. Like, these people thinking that they're all doing the right thing when they don't realize how much hatefulness they're creating, how much judgment, and how much division. Like, they don't realize that that's the wave they're riding. And then they're bringing all these people on board with them. Like, that's what I was like, man, like, that's a ugh. You get some people, like, in certain groups, and then they get all, like, because fear, there's a lot of people who feel like we got to do something. Like, they're ready to start, like, having violence in order to make moves and stuff. And, you know, and that could be what plays out. You know, like I've said, like, some shit goes down, but it's all shit that's gonna go down. Like, there's nothing we can do about it. It's that shit goes down, and that's what makes all these changes. And it probably will have to do with some people's really dark side coming out and showing. Is that this is what, you know, so many people have to see, is this dark side. This dark side, not just of humanity, but the dark side that you carry inside of you, that you feel when you think about other people. And everybody, you know, people think, well, I don't have any biases, I'm not judgmental. Yeah, you are. Everybody has it. And they did it, you know, Gen X, the Gen Zs, the millennials. The Gen Alphas are divided between the millennials, are divided between the boomers. The Gen X doesn't like the millennials. It's like, oh my God. Yeah. So, or it can be people who think, well, you know, I don't have any problem with anybody. But then you walk some, you know, kid by who his face is buried in something, has weird hair and stuff. And it's like, well, unless those, but those ones don't, you know. That's where you got to see for yourself. Like, you just okay it. If it's something that you don't like, well, you know, that's just me. Well, okay, well, that doesn't fly in the universe. That's not how the high vibration doesn't work that way. It's not like, well, we're all going to get along except for you. You can pick and choose who you don't like and don't like. No, you have to be able to learn how to get along with everybody. That's basically what you're doing here, is learning how to get along, learning how to accept people for who they are, learning how to accept situations, be able to go with the flow. Like, all the things that we go through are all like advancements. They're all things that expand us. But, you know, people just don't like to do the work because it's hard. And oh, and there seems to be like some sort of financial collapse. There's going to be a lot of financial collapsing. But stuff with the Kardashians or something, like, people are talking about that. But all of these different, everything that was really super phony and artificial, it has no place in a positive, productive environment. Like, everything that is no good is just going to fall apart. It's not going to have a place to go forward. It's just going to fizzle out, burn up, blow up. There's no way to go forward. It has to be of a certain kind of energy. That's why, even on TikTok, like, you got all these people like freaking out, like, oh, well, yeah, I mean, they're on every move, every word, like Congress or the House, and, oh, they're so mad and they shouldn't do that, just all this stuff. But that is going to be, however it's going to play out. It's up to the universe. Like, people will lose account. Like, it's going to be the energy. There's certain things that the universe is going to promote. Like, and right now, there seems to be so many people who seem confused over that. Like, they don't seem to be able to recognize the energies and see and understand what they're a part of or tapped into or any of that stuff. But the universe does. And so the universe has certain energies, and all different people are here playing all different roles. So it has certain energies that are going to move forward, and that energy will move however they're going to do it. And that is, it's going to all be an energy of growth and expansion, positive. Like, this division and stuff, it may be okay for drawing in attention. But then there's going to be a part of, like, well, you're kind of a shitty person, you're judgmental, you're hateful, you're racist, you're biased, you're bigot, you're this, you're that, whatever the people have to face. And so once they face these sides of themselves and release it, then it's, fixed. It's not like, it's not like you're stuck being a certain way. There's things that are being triggered in you right now so you can release these things. So anyways, the people who have like the hateful kind of biases or whatever, is like, so that they can see it for themselves. So they're saying this stuff, like they're spreading this certain message, and then, but the message seems okay because of the climate. Like, it seems like it fits, but it fits because they're only seeing part of the story, because part of the story is like behind the curtain. But when you are focused on the light, so you can see, but when they're not, then they're focused on the dark. See how they are focused on the dark? Because they should be able to find that in themselves. But that they can't or aren't is because they're not supposed to. They're supposed to go through this healing, this wound of whatever it is that they are going to, do by their hateful actions or hateful words or whatever it is. So, and then it's just, some of them have such like a big thing, but the universe is not going to put that stuff forward. Like, there something will happen. Like, that's why, these people freaking out over their account. It's in way bigger hands than just TikTok. Like, you need to be thinking about what the energy are you putting out. And, I think a lot of these accounts that are just putting out really shallow stuff, so much shallow shit, something will happen. They'll just, their account will that energy is not going to go on. Because it's like a desperate humiliation, distraction. Like, there's just not positive things about it. So a lot of those accounts is not going to just be, oh, like, well, for fun. No, we're going into a time where people are going to take things more serious and more deeper. People are going to be a lot more effective. They're going to care a lot more. They're not going to be shallow and simple. People are going to be a lot deeper. And so these accounts where it's just a distraction and, it's like, see, how much cleavage can I show and pretend like I'm not showing it? It's like those kinds of accounts, they're there for them to go through that part, to see that part of themselves. But then those kinds of things are all going to go away. The accounts Like, and I don't know how it's all going to go on TikTok. I think that the accounts that are going to be going are going to be ones that are good for people. There's going to be something that is bringing something that helps people. So if if you really want to have your social media account or something, you got to be putting it into a direction of in service of humanity, things that are good for people. And a big thing is going to be about healing and stuff. So any of the stuff like that you've gone through that you can share and help others, that is going to be a huge movement. That's where things are going to be moving into, is healing, people taking it really serious, and people wanting to feel better, people realizing how bad things have gotten. And so it's going to go in a way different direction. And in them going in the different direction is what changes the whole world. But to see, it's something that is bad is what is the trigger, or some catalyst that gets everybody to take things more seriously, to look at things more seriously, to so I don't know. I mean, I think there's definitely going to be a lot of death. But I don't know if it's going to be at the hand, like government's going to be doing it, weather's going to be doing it, or people are going to be doing it to each other. So far, we've got all of that stuff going on. But there's still, it seems like there's going to be something big, like in Russia, how and that was 137 people. That was a lot of people, but man. And right after he just did that whole thing about the vampires are done, they're out. So I don't know. I just don't know if it was a part of like a big show, because everything is like so much things are a show. So many things are just to get people to wake up, just to get people to pay attention, just to get people to heal stuff. Because that's what it's all about. And but anyways, whenever this goes down, then that is going to be that all these different people who are doing these different things is going to push them, and the universe will make the decisions over in any of these people that think like they can outsmart the universe. Oh well, they're just gonna, there's not going to be OnlyFans, there's not going to be kids being exploited, like all those accounts are going to be just gone. And I don't know if it's going to be like all of TikTok will go down, and then something else will pop up. And I have no idea, because there's going to be ways to have links to like more holistic things and natural things, because that's going to be the direction that things are going to go. It's going to go away from chemicals and medicine and relying on these people and quick fixes that never fix you and all that. It's going to be about you focusing on your health, taking care of yourself, and mind, body, spirit. It's going to be like a whole different embracing your life, what you do with your life and how you spend your time and your lifestyle. It's going to be like a whole new center. So but again, I don't think that we're going to be in the same kind of way that we're going to look at things like jailing people and stuff. But a lot of these people who do these things, that are the vibration won't match. So they're going to fall away. They're not going to go forward. It's not like we're going to go forward, then we're going to have to be like, okay, so now what are we going to do with all these bad people? Right now, all these bad people are being rounded up. And then it's going to be this huge energy purging. And I don't know. I mean, all I know is on Trump's thing, on all his executive orders, he had all these things that said, if you do anything to hurt kids, it's curtains for you. And so all these different people, even these ones where they're saying, oh, well, they're going to sit in jail now for life. I think they're going to be, there's going to be more serious consequence on a lot of this stuff. There's going to be endings. There's going to be endings and beginnings. And, that's when we're waiting for the endings and the beginnings, you just got to remember to love yourself, to love everyone, and have a loving day. And I'm going to go deal with this little lover. And I'll talk to you later. Bye.